Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to another Viva Mundo webinar. Today we are heading over to Academy of Art University based in San Francisco. We are here to talk with you with Sue Rowney here, who will be your presenter for today. And she's going to take you through all of the reasons why you should study arts abroad and how that can benefit you career-wise in the future. Now, please do ask any questions. We have got the time for that at the very end of the webinar. The questions and Q&A can be found just at the bottom of your screen there, and we will get to those right at the very end of our webinar. But for now, I'm going to hand you over to Sue.
Hi, everybody. So glad you're here. Welcome to the Academy of Art University. We're going to try to answer all your questions. My associate Tricia will be also answering questions in the chat box. So don't hold back. Ask away. This is an interactive session. I want to just explain that if you're looking for an art school, an art college in which you can get a job when you graduate, you found the right place. And I'm going to emphasize that. The school was started by an artist in 1929 in San Francisco, and he was able to become successful in the world, in the real world. And he said, if I can learn to do this thing, I can teach others to do it. And that's how we got started. It's always been by artists, for artists. We're located in San Francisco, California, which is a beautiful city in the United States. As you can see, we really do have a Golden Gate Bridge. It's not gold, it's kind of a reddish color. But you can see the city behind the bridge there. It's a city that's very diverse. It embraces art, design, technology. It's a great place to study the visual arts. This is another picture of the downtown. And if you do come to San Francisco to go to school, which I hope you all decide it's your place, you will have to bring some good shoes because you've got to walk these hills. It is a hilly place, but it's beautiful and great vistas everywhere. And that's a cable car going up that hill right there, what you've always heard about, maybe in the song, I Left My Heart in San Francisco. But besides the beauty, the geographic beauty, we also are at a hub of art, design, and technology. You've all heard of Silicon Valley, not very far from San Francisco, but Pixar, Sony, Fujifilm, all these companies are surrounding us. Many, many graphic design studios, LinkedIn, it goes on and on and on, as you can see in this little map. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means that here you'll find the internships that you want to have before you graduate. You will have networking opportunities with faculty who are actually working at these very places. And then you will be able to get a job. You'll have a career path to your future employment. And I'm going to emphasize employment a lot during this presentation, because so many times parents and students alike are concerned that they won't be able to have a future where they can have some of the things, quote, that they want to have. But if you come to the Academy, that will not be the case, I guarantee it. We have accreditation in the United States. Accreditation is very important. We have regional accreditation, which is what all the big schools have, like Berkeley, Stanford, all of the typically academic schools. We have NASET. This is very, very important. It's a national accreditation that is over art and design. That's what it's called, the National Association of Schools of Art and Design. You want, even if you choose not to come to the Academy, make sure the school is NASET accredited. That guarantees you that that organization has given it a stamp of approval. We have a lot of different, we have, I think, actually 22 schools, but we have way more accredited programs. As it says here on the slide, 122 accredited programs. That's because each one of these majors has sub-majors. For example, if I was interested in illustration, maybe I would like to do children's book. I can do that. Or maybe if I'm in communication and media technologies, I'd like to be on television or streaming as a weather woman or man or person. You can do that. Fashion design, I like to do knitwear. We can make that happen. So I think you get the idea. Whatever you're interested in, we can create, with all these majors, we can actually help you create your portfolio so that when you get out, you're doing exactly the kind of work you want to do. We also have STEM degree programs, which is really important for you. Why is that important? Well, it means with your F1 visa, the visa you will have to attend on-site classes at the Academy of Art University, you can actually stay in the US for 3 additional years after graduation and work full-time. Paid full-time work is part of your F1 visa. That's a big plus. So now I'd like to show you quickly some of our student work. Excuse me. This is architecture. How do you know if you want to be an architect? Well, if you like the idea of building buildings, if you like the idea of planning communities, architecture is the right major for you. Fashion design. In fashion design, you're thinking about clothing, you're thinking about accessories, footwear. So you may have exclusive clients, or you may do what we call ready to wear, where you have a line that's in a store. People go in and buy it off the hanger, as we say. But you need to be able to draw, you need to be able to visualize, and you need to be able to work with different materials and understand how those work with your design. Anyway, you'll learn all of that if you take fashion design. We also have jewelry and metal arts. And I like to point out that this is a standalone major at the Academy. What that means is it's not part of fashion design, although when we have our fashion shows, many times our jewelry and metal art students help create the accessories. So whether you're doing necklaces, there's one very ornate one, as you can see, the bird, or a more simple metal jewelry necklace, or maybe you want to do something different than jewelry. Maybe you would like to work on gates for homes and estates. You can do that. You learn how to do that in our jewelry and metal arts program. Photography is, we all have cameras on our phones, so I know you all take a lot of pictures. But what we do in photography is we combine technical expertise with your creativity and visual eye, and we try to take more common pictures, but make them beautiful. So this is sugar, for example. Probably none of you ever thought about taking pictures of sugar, but isn't it beautiful? And if you were a photographer, professional photographer, who was trying to get your pictures into online food channel, or maybe even a magazine, I think they'd be interested in these images. Advertising is presenting a product to the public. It's fast, it's moving, always changing, and they're always looking for fresh ideas. In this case, this was an international student who did this image. She was concerned about pollution in the oceans, and she put this image together. I think it's memorable and probably very effective. Here we have games. If you're interested in working on games, game development, game program, you want to work with a team and strategize a new game, or you just want to work at a game company where you're constantly making games for the public, we can teach you how to do that. And again, we have not only game development, but game programming and concept art. All these images that you see there, they have to be drawn by somebody initially. We'll teach you that skill as well. Visual development is part of animation. You're taking a character and you're creating a real personality. As you can see here, these characters have outfits, they have expressions, they even have personalities. And they probably live someplace where you will create the environment. In this case, the two characters, Eleanor and Emily. They're very different characters. You can see one seems like she's working for the other one, possibly. I don't know. But over to the left, you see the town that they live in. So you will take these ideas and you will actually make the look and feel of that idea for animators. Then when you go on to animation, you work in the computer. You do the polished work, the high-end work that you see in full-length movies. One of the things we offer is something called Studio X. And Studio X is where students come together for these creations of stories and films. It's very, very powerful. And let me tell you, if you want to work at an animation studio like Walt Disney, you show them a reel that you've already done where it's beautiful. It's obviously you know what you're doing. They're going to want to hire you because you can just start one day and begin work. But even in animation and visual effects, you need to be able to draw. And why is that? Well, the studios aren't going to put you on a computer right away. They're going to want you to sketch out your idea. And this is done in watercolor before they put you on the computer. So being able to do this, do the storyboard is what that's called, is a real asset in this industry. Industrial design is basically taking products and making it so that people are comfortable, whether it's a bus or a tennis shoe, or maybe it's a special kind of jewelry that opens the garage door and turns on the lights. I don't know. But in industrial design, you're working in the future. You're working in how to make the world a better place for human beings. And maybe you like car design. The director of our industrial design program is actually Tomatano, and he designed the two-seater Miata. It's iconic car. Car companies all over the world know Tomatano. So if you're working with Tom in industrial design and you want to work in a car company, Tom can make sure that happens. That's priceless. That kind of introduction is priceless. Graphic design, you're taking visual images, whether it's the type, it's the logo, it's the colors, and you're selling a product. You want people to notice this product so they want to buy that blueberry jam or they want to buy that certain kind of wine. Because there's many that they have to choose from, right? And you as a graphic designer are saying, this is what I can do to make the consumer want to buy this particular product. Illustration, we have children's books. An illustrator is actually somebody who's solving a problem. So say with a children's book, I have a story, but I don't have the characters. I need visuals. I mean, children love visuals, right? So I come to you and I say, can you create my characters for this story? Can you give me the visuals for my story that I've written? And that's what you do. You solve problems for the person who has created the copy, the actual script. Here is also another type of illustration we do, which is called comic book or graphic novel. So again, you have a story, you have to come up with the visuals. These are highly stylized, obviously, but you really need to be able to draw to do this kind of work. So in illustration, it's really, you're going to be using pens, you're going to be using paints, you're going to be using the computer. You have to know how to draw. Fine art painting, we all love to go to museums and look at the galleries. These are realistic images. That's what we're known for. These aren't photographs, and this is student work, and it's beautiful. I just love looking at that stuff. Sculpture, we offer it too. It can be highly stylized, as this is kind of a mixed media, or you can do more traditional work. Like if you were to look at the David in Florence, Italy, you would be looking at sculpture, right? And so if you like to get your hands dirty and mess with the clay and maybe even do some taking out a chisel and start doing that kind of work, we can offer you that as well. Interior architecture and design, you're creating interiors that invite people, that people want to be in, that people want to stay in. And I love this one. This is actually a staircase, right? Anybody can go up a staircase to the next floor. It's a very functional part of a room. But the interior designer in this case has said, oh, this could be way more than a functional piece to get from one level to the other. This could actually be a gallery. People could stop on the steps and look at these images as they go up. Whatever people choose to do on that staircase, I can tell you if I'm sitting somewhere else in the room, my eye is pulled to that area. So it's not wasted space. It's actually adds to the Academy has a spring show every year where we showcase the best student work, and top representatives, all those people that you see there, come to look at the work and hire students on the spot. And that's they get hired before they graduate. So again, we're all about connecting the dots, getting students to the jobs that they want to do and making sure the employers know about them. Always ask about rankings. How's your school ranked? Well, we don't have a ranking for the number of library books or the number of PhDs. But what we do have is how we do in international contests all over the world. You can see on that top row, the rookies, that's just a few of our awards, but we ranked number 1, 2019, 2020, 2021. That's competing with art schools everywhere. So when you see that, when you see these rankings, when you see that we have won these contests, and we didn't do the vote, other neutral bodies judged us, you can see that our students are doing really, really top work. These are some of the companies we have partnerships with. They actually come into the school and work in classes with our students while the students are going through their education. And that often leads to employment. And these are some of the places we have students working. The thing that's really interesting, whether you're a fashion designer and you're working for Ralph Lauren, or you're an animator and you're working at Pixar, or maybe you're doing something at Four Seasons Hotels, there are other Academy graduates there. And once you find that niche, once you find your other alumni, you will continue to have doors open for you that most people wouldn't have the opportunity to experience. These are some of our award-winning faculty, and I like to show their pictures because the thing about them is like Tom Matano, he's the guy that does the Mazda Miata. Yeah, that's the guy. People know him all over the world. Catherine Tate next to him in that picture, 3D animation visual effects. She worked on Star Wars with George Lucas. Unbelievable. If you look down on the lower row, Jana Memel, she has 3 Oscars. 3, not just one. You probably have watched the Academy Awards and you see these people who are getting these and they're just crying and saying, this is amazing. I can't believe this is happening. She's got 3 Oscars and she's working at the Academy. So what does that mean? If you're in motion picture acting, boy, you're on the inside track. Anyway, that's true of all of our directors. They're at the top of their game. They have a lot of contacts in the industry and they want to share their expertise with you. We have English support if you need it. You don't have to wait to become bilingual before you can start taking classes. We have a process that we have created and it works really well. So you can start your art classes while you're studying English. I mean, your English class, you can start your art classes while you're studying English. And we have student clubs where you're going to collaborate with others who share your passions. You can see beyond the front row, that's a fashion club, anime speaks for itself, illustrators and Animators like to be in that. Jewelry and Metal Arts Club. Great way to meet other artists and designers. We also have housing. I really recommend that you take advantage of this if you come to San Francisco. San Francisco is a beautiful city. As I said, it's diverse, it embraces art and design, and a lot of people want to be there. You may want us to help you with that first year while you're kind of getting to know your way around. We have mansions that we have converted into housing. We have private rooms, we have apartments, we have hotels that we've converted. So we have a lot of options for you. And what that means for you is they're furnished. You just walk in with your clothes and some sheets and you're ready to go. We also have transportation. If you look at that one slide on the right, you can see a white bus sitting in front of that apartment building. That is picking up students to take them to class and bring them home. So you don't even have to worry about how close am I to the campus or how do I get back and forth, or, mass transportations can sometimes be difficult because it can be crowded, and if you've got a project, you don't want anybody messing it up before you get it to school. Also, you may find it's expensive to try to take Ubers or cabs or whatever. We provide you free transportation. All you have to do is show your badge to get on. It's just for Academy students. So here we go. So we like to say, defy the ordinary, create the extraordinary. And of course, what we're talking about is when you come to the Academy, you're not doing the regular routine. You're not going to a generic university. You're going to a specialized university because you love art, you love design, and can't see yourself doing anything else. And when we say create the extraordinary, what are we talking about? We're talking about that portfolio, that ticket to the job of your dream. So what we're asking you to do is consider joining us at the Academy of Art University and join the hundreds of thousands actually, of aspiring artist designers just like you who came to us because they couldn't imagine themselves being anywhere else. Now I want to show you a quick little 2-minute film of our all student work. hope you enjoyed that. I always do. I've seen it a lot, but it's still, it's amazing to me that our students, some of them came to us with very little background in art and design, have been able to move to that level of skill. And how did they do it? Well, they came to the academy, and I just want to say, of course, there's a cost. All art and design schools have a cost. Ours is around 33,000 for the entire year. That's 2 full semesters, all your activity fees, health insurance, estimated material and supply fees. Graduates about $1,000 more. But I want you to think about the value of what I've just talked about. Yes, you could go places that less expensive, wouldn't be in San Francisco, California. They might be in some place where there wasn't too many opportunities for internships or employment. But when you come to San Francisco, you get that hub of technology, art, and design. We're right in the center of it all. You get professional faculty who are working in these different jobs that you want to do. You want to be them, and they're there to share their expertise. And number 3, you have the opportunity to get your work out in front of employers from all over the world, basically, because they all know about the Academy of Art and they've hired our alums. So you want to work in art and design, you have to work in art and design. You have to work maybe, and you want to do it in art and design. We're the place for you. If you just want to take art classes and maybe do something else later on, then maybe we're not a good fit, because we're going to push you. We're going to challenge you. We want you to be the best you can be. So how do you do it? Well, to apply, you can contact us at theacademyart.edu, or there's a phone number. Somebody will call you back if you leave a message saying you're an international student and you would like to come to the academy. I also want to emphasize, we have a very robust online program that we've been working on for over 20 years. And if you can't come to the academy for your whole career, your whole education, you can start working wherever you are, taking online classes. You're going to learn the same, they're accredited by the same people. You're going to learn the same, have the same learning outcomes. You'll end up, I can promise you, with a portfolio that you'll be very proud of if you do it online. But maybe you could do it for 2 or 3 years at home and then come for your last year, year and a half to San Francisco. Anyway, we have many options for you. Your international admissions team can help you navigate all that. And I hope I see you there. I hope I get to meet you. I hope I get to hear you say, hey, I heard that presentation you did and I decided that was the place for me. So with that, I think it's time for to take questions.
Great. Hello. Thank you for the presentation. That's awesome. Let's just keep that. I was going to say to keep that on the screen just in case if anyone wanted to see any.
Let's see if I
info.
can, maybe I can share that back here. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's kickstart some of the questions. Thank you. That's perfect.
Okay.
Okay, let's start. So I think you've already touched on the portfolio side of things, but there is someone asking, is there any portfolio evidence I need before applying?
Oh, many students don't have the opportunity to take instruction, art and design instruction. We will look at whatever you have. If you have just done stuff on your own, we want to see what that is. We want to see what your interests are. We want to make sure we place you in the proper classes. So if you have a portfolio, show us 10 of your best pieces in the area in which you want to study. But if you don't have a portfolio, we will assume that your background is limited, and we will start you in our foundations classes. So you don't have to be at a certain level to be accepted at the academy. We just want to see what you have so that we can place you properly. We don't want you to be bored.
No, that's totally fair. And I think there's also a question here about housing. Can you give a little bit of advice to those who are looking for housing at the moment in San Francisco and how that is in terms of the rate of living?
So I really recommend you do our housing for the first year. We have all levels of housing. Again, your admissions representative can help you figure that out. You can also go to our website. Um, we have apartment style housing. We have over 21 housing. We have, like I said in the presentation, we have shared room housing, dormitory style housing. We even have hotel room type housing. We've renovated buildings just so we could supply our first year students with housing. The reason I'm saying that is so many times students come to San Francisco and they think, well, I'm going to pick my own place. I'm going to find my own place. I want to live where I want to live. But they don't realize how far it is from the campus. Or maybe it's cheaper, but they don't feel safe. Our housing has transportation. You can get rides back and forth to classes. We have cafeterias. You can get food if you need it, if you want it, if you don't cook. We have private apartments. We have security, making sure that only Academy students come in the buildings. So we have many ways. You just basically walk in. You come in with your suitcase, your blankets, and your computer. We've got Wi-Fi all set up for you. You don't have to worry about turning on your utilities. It's a great way to start. And there's all different prices depending on whether you want to live alone in an apartment or you want to live in a room by yourself or you want to share. But we have a housing department that has been doing this for quite a long time, and they can try to fit you with the right roommate if you want to share with somebody, or they can help you get a private. So that's my suggestion. Take
Okay,
our housing the first year, find
amazing.
your way around the city, and then think about if you want to live on your own.
Amazing. And there's a question here about application deadlines. Do you have any application deadlines for 2023? And obviously, how much is it to study with you, which you've already shared, that's fine.
Yes. So we don't have a deadline per se, because we will accept students up until the start of school, just about. But if you really want to have, you want the director, say you have a portfolio, you want to have that reviewed, you need to get a visa, you want to make those appointments, get those taken care of. I would give it a couple months before the start of any. We have 3 starts. We have one in February, we have one in June, and we have one in September. So I would give it a couple months prior. Again, work with your international admissions team. They're going to help you navigate this. They're going to give you tips about your visa if in fact you need a visa. They're going to make sure your portfolio gets reviewed. Make sure you get in the classes that you want. Sometimes students wait a long time before they actually apply or sign up for classes, and maybe the classes that they hope to take are closed because they're full. The closer we get to the start, the more frequently that happens. So I recommend that you give it 2 or 3 months prior to the semester that you want to start before, and then get signed up, and you can start making your plans to be in San Francisco.
Amazing. And we also have a question here about web design programs. And do you offer any web design, programs, including developer programs? And how would they get into that?
Okay, so we have everything is art and design. We don't have any majors. You can't come to the academy and do a business major. So if you want to do graphic design, for example, we have that. If you want to do interior architecture and design, we have landscape design. We have those. If you want to do something in advertising, we have that. We have industrial design. You probably remember the picture of the car and the bus and tennis shoe, it's all design. So whatever kind, we don't have a generic design. We don't, you can't come to the academy and say, I just want to be a designer and I want to be able to do everything. We're going to focus you in an area because again, we're all about getting you jobs. And we want you, it's like saying, I'm hungry, I want food, but what kind of food do you know, do you want fish? Do you want meat? Do you want carbohydrates? You know, what do you want? That's what we're going to ask you to do as you go through the process. Now you can start out taking some basic classes, call them foundation class. We're going to give you some art classes. You can tell us what you're interested in. Maybe you're interested in photography. We'll have you take a photography class. Maybe you're interested in something, maybe you got 2 or 3 interests. You'll have electives. We can put you in some basic classes and all the areas in which you're interested in. You can pick and choose which one you like the most. So we're going to narrow it down a little bit, but we're going to keep you in art and design. We're not going to move you out of that, I promise. But we'll start you, we're going to start narrowing the field. We're not going to put you in all 24 of our art and design classes, or majors. We're going to actually figure out what you're interested in, and then we're going to start having you try it on for size.
Okay, and how high an English proficiency do you need for these courses?
That's a good question. For most people, they don't need a lot of help. Most of the people that come to us are intermediate level English. Some are already bilingual. We have an EAP program, English for Art Purposes, and we will test you, or you can take Duolingo or TOEFL or else, and we will put you in the right level so that you get the support you need. We call it English for Art Purposes. It's not so much about reading a menu when you go out to dinner. It's more about what is the language you're going to hear in our art and design classrooms. In our EAP classes, we get you used to the idea of our critiques, for example, and presenting your work. So we will work with you and get you up to speed. And then this is a really great part. Even after you've gone through our EAP program, or even if you didn't need it, we have language support throughout the time you're at the school. So maybe you take one of our EAP courses, you're ready to go, and then a couple of years from now, you get into a class and you really lost it. For some reason, you aren't following what's happening. We will have tutors, mentors come in and help you so that you can pass the class and understand what's being taught.
Amazing. And can students work alongside their degree?
Yes, but it's limit. So let me explain that. So when you come to the academy, we have opportunities for work for international students in our cafeterias and in our dormitories. If you, after a year, if you decide you want to try to work in the field that you're going to be working in eventually, you can do what's called CPT. And that means that while you're in school, you can work for up to 20 hours in a related field. For example, if I was in fashion design, and I, of course, not a fashion designer yet because I've only been at the academy for 1 or 2 years. But I want to start getting my, I need to work, I want to work. So I go to maybe a department store and I start working there because it's related to what I'm going to do in fashion design. I'm working in the clothing department. I'm looking at the clothes that people are buying and how they fit and how the different materials work. That would be an example of what CPT is. Many of our students choose not to do that because they are they want to wait till they graduate. They want to have that 3 years when they have the portfolio, when they can get a really good job doing as a fashion designer, for example. They don't want to do this other kind of work and have that does take away from the time you have in your opportunity to work at the end of your college education. So they say, okay, I'm just going to wait, and then I'm going to do 3 years at the end. It's up to you, but yes, there is opportunity for you. And it just, again, you'll be working with a team of people who can help you figure that out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your presentation, Sue, and of course for all of the information that you provided with us today. For those who are watching on the record, we will be in touch with you very shortly to follow up with the webinar. And any questions that you do have, feel free to send them over, and they will get in touch with you very, very soon. Thank you guys for your questions. They've been really interesting, and I think they're going to help a lot of other people for going forward. But Sue, are there any last words from you?
Yeah, I would just say, come join us. Come join us in this ever expanding group of young artists and designers. Become part of this community. You don't have to do it alone. We understand, and we're going to make it as easy for you as we can, but we're going to guarantee you a portfolio, a competitive portfolio, a professional competitive portfolio when you graduate. And we have also, I didn't mention this, we have a career development office who will help you get jobs throughout your life, not just when you graduate. So come be part of the family, come be part of the tribe.
Amazing.
I
Thank
hope
you,
I get to
Sue.
meet you.
We hope that they get to meet you too very soon. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching and for your questions, and we will be in touch shortly. Have a great day or evening, everybody. Bye-bye.